here we are with book 23, okay? It says the trunk of the olive tree. Kind of interesting way they kind of titled this. That has a lot to do with what goes on in this story, or in this book. I want you guys to remember, I left you with, hey, how does he reveal himself? Because if he just walks into the room with Penelope and just says, honey, I'm home. I've been gone for 20 years. 20 years. He had a goddess that really kind of took pity on him. And let's see. Oh my God. Let's read some. We got to see what's the problem Odysseus is going to face. I think we have a few problems here yet. Great-hearted Odysseus, home at last, was being bathed now by Eurynome and rubbed with golden oil and clothed again in a fresh tunic and a cloak. Athena lent him beauty, head to foot. She made him taller, massive, too, with crisping hair and curls like petals of wild hyacinth, but all red golden. Think of gold infused on silver by a craftsman whose fine art Hephaestus taught him. Or Athena, one whose work moves to delight. Just so she lavished beauty over Odysseus' head and shoulders. He sat then in the same chair by the pillar facing his silent wife, and he says, now remember, if Odysseus is going to see his wife for the very first time, and my God, he's taller than what she remembers, he's better looking than what she remembers, and it's been 20 years. In 20 years, dude, you're going to get wrinkly. It's going to happen. And all of a sudden, you walk in looking better than ever. Her alarm bells have to be going off really big. For 20 years of him being gone, don't you think? Has anybody ever tried pulling this on her before? You would bet. Somebody has tried this before. And so he says to her, strange woman, the immortals of Olympus made you hard, harder than any. Who else in the world would keep aloof as you do from her husband if you returned to her from years of trouble, cast on his own land in the 20th year? He's ticked off. Why aren't you just coming and like greeting me, throwing your arms wide and being happy? You know, you are being kept aloof, like you don't care who I am, because she doesn't know that it's Odysseus. She still doesn't accept it. And remember, hey, whoever won that fight is supposed to be marrying her. She's not, I shouldn't say ready, but she has resolved herself to the fact that I can't have Odysseus. Okay? So Odysseus in her mind is kind of gone. So Odysseus turns to the lady. She would have, I want to say it's like a lady in waiting, but she's going to have a lady servant there. And he says to her, nurse, make up a bed for me to sleep on. Her heart is iron in her breast. Well, geez, I'm home here with my wife, and she still won't even acknowledge me, so I'll just sleep somewhere else. Penelope spoke to Odysseus now, and she said, strange man, if man you are, this is no pride on my part, nor scorn for you, not even wonder merely. I know so well how he appeared boarding the ship for Troy. But all the same, make up his bed for him, Euclea. Place it outside the bedchamber my lord built with his own hands. Piled a big bed with fleeces, rugs, and sheets of purest linen. So she kind of acknowledges, dude, you do kind of look like him, but I remember him being maybe a little bit shorter than you. Something's a little off. I'm not thrilled to marry you. I'm not being prideful. I just don't, you're not exactly like what I remember. So yeah, go make his bed for him. With this, she tried him to the breaking point, and he, Odysseus, turned on her in a flash, raging. Line 391. Woman, by heaven, you've stung me now. Who dared to move my bed? No builder had the skill for that unless a god came down to turn the trick. No mortal in his best days could budge it with a crowbar. There is our pact and pledge. Our secret sign built into that bed, my handiwork, and no one else's. An old trunk of olive grew like a pillar on the building plot, and I laid out our bedroom around that tree, lined up the stone walls, built the walls and roof, gave it a doorway and smooth-fitting doors. Then I lopped off the silvery leaves and branches, hewed and shaped that stump from the roots up into a bedpost, drilled it, let it serve as model for the rest. I planned them all, inlaid them all with silver, gold, and ivory, and stretched a bed between a pliant web of oxhide thongs dyed crimson. There is our sign. I know no more. Could someone else's hand have sawn that trunk and dragged that frame away? Odysseus unknowingly has done probably the best thing ever, because he tells her only what he would know. If she has been, well, unlike her husband, if she has not played checkers with anyone, nobody else is going to know that information about her bedroom, okay? He has said, dude, I'm the one. I created this room where our bed is. I made it from an olive tree that it was just the tree trunk there, and I made it. You can't ever move the bedroom around. That bed is set in stone. You cannot move it. I did all the inlay work on it. I did it. It was our secret sign because I made it. Wow. Could someone else's hand have sawn that trunk and dragged the frame away? Top of 964. Their secret. As she heard it told, her knees grew tremulous and weak, and her heart failed her. With eyes brimming tears, she ran to him, throwing her arms around his neck, and kissed him, because she knows that's who he is. He is truly Odysseus. He gave her the best piece of information to verify I am who I say I am. Do not rage at me, Odysseus. No one ever matched your caution. Think what difficulty the gods gave me. They denied us life together in our prime and flowering years, kept us from crossing into age together. Forgive me. Don't be angry. I could not welcome you with love on sight. I armed myself long ago against the frauds of men, impostors who might come, and all those many whose underhanded ways bring evil on them. Helen of Argos, daughter of Zeus and Leda, would she have joined the stranger and lain with him if she had known her destiny, known the Achaeans in arms would bring her back to her own country? Surely a goddess moved her to adultery, her blood unchilled by the war and evil coming, the years, the desolation, ours too. But here and now, what sign could be so clear as this of our own bed? No other man has ever laid eyes on it. Only my slave, actress, that my father sent me as a gift. She kept our door. You make my stiff heart know that I am yours. For Odysseus, this is a massive moment. Because without our knowledge, here's Odysseus thinking, dude, and this all happens on the previous page. When Odysseus is just like, dude, who moved our bed? He's panicked. You cheated on me. You had somebody else in our bedroom. You moved our bed. He is all upset over the concept that maybe she was out playing checkers with somebody. Interesting that it was okay for him to play solid checkers for 8 years. But it's not okay. It's not okay for her to play checkers with anybody or to move her bed with anybody's help. So, kind of interesting. But it was the best thing he could ever do, was to tell her about that bed. It said that her legs grew weak. I mean, she's just going to kind of collapse into him that, oh my God, you are who you say you are, because I've never, ever, ever let anybody be with me. And hey, and she admits it and says, hey, my assistant, my maid, actress, what a great name, actress. She's the only one that's ever been into my room. So she's the only one who would ever have known about my bed. That's how I know you are who you say you are. And that right there for Odysseus, it's like, oh my God, she's been true to me for all these years. Oh, what a blessed moment. I guess I can keep her. Now, on line 439, now from his breast into his eyes, the ache of longing mounted, and he wept at last. His dear wife, clear and faithful in his arms, longed for as the sun-warmed earth is longed for by a swimmer spent in rough water, where his ship went down under Poseidon's blows, gale, winds, and tons of sea. Few men can keep alive through a big surf to crawl, clotted with brine on kindly beaches. Enjoy, knowing the abyss behind. And so she too rejoiced, her gaze upon her husband, her white arms round him pressed as though forever. So wow, they get all excited, they hug, they kiss, everything's wonderful. But I really love the last probably 8 lines or so when it said, it's like, hey, they long for the sun-warmed earth, it's longed for by a swimmer spent in rough water. Dude, if I'm out there swimming in an ocean and I can see land coming, oh my God, can you imagine? The water is so rough. Land means safety. It means security. It could mean home. And for Odysseus, this is kind of like that particular moment. Being out at sea and having extremely rough waters. But home is Penelope. And she's there. And it's like the most incredibly sweet moment. It says, enjoy knowing the abyss behind. The abyss is, dude, I've been gone for 20 years. 10 of those years I was fighting men, more and more and more men. I saw men die that were my friends. And then for another 8 years, yes, I played checkers, but we're not talking about that. But all the other times I was with my men and fighting against Polyphemus, fighting to try and eventually get away from Circe, fighting things in the water that you and I never read about. All of that is now in the abyss behind him. It's all gone. All that's over with. So she too rejoiced, as though they would keep their arms around each other forever. So if I take a look on page 965, again, I don't know if you guys have this page. It says, there is nothing small about an epic. Instead, it is known for the scope and magnitude of its plot, character, setting, and theme. So, the scope and the magnitude of the plot. So we have to take a look at all of these books. And again, we have not read all of the books. We read books 1, 9, 10, 12, 21, 22, 23. So we've read 7 books. And none of them were complete. And there's, 16 other books? Is this a massive story, do you suppose? The answer would be yes. What about the character? Everything Odysseus has to go through. The setting has to be something super grand. Epic heroes. Is Odysseus an epic hero? Big question of the day. Does he have a larger than life, is he a larger than life character? Not meaning he's a really tall, big guy, but has he done some incredible things? Has he gone against some incredible foes and come out on top? And the answer would be yes. Usually of noble birth. Well, he is the king on Ithaca. He is the number 1 guy on Ithaca. So I would have to say yes. Legendary importance. He has been gone for 20 years. He fought in battles solid for 10 years. And then spent another 10 years trying to get home. He's the one that saves Ithaca in the end. He was the one that saved his men for so long. Well, until they all died, but let's not go there. He has superhuman strength and boundless courage. Do you suppose he had superhuman strength going against 100 men? Didn't give up. Boundless courage going against Polyphemus when Polyphemus is massive, absolutely massive, even though he only has one eye and he's not with a whole bunch of Cyclops. How do you not panic when he's eating your men right in front of you? How do you not panic when you have one of your men running down from Circe's palace and telling, oh, it was a witch's trick and she turned all our men to swine, and Odysseus listened to a god give him a poisonous herb, a poisonous plant, and he takes it so he can go and try and save his men? Is that not boundless courage? Absolutely. Epic plots have large spans, goes over a long period of time. It's complicated by supernatural beings or events. I think this would constitute that either as well. And it may involve long and dangerous journeys through foreign lands. Do we suppose we've seen all of that? Epic settings can be huge in scale, usually involving more than one nation. Epic themes reflect timeless concerns such as courage and honor, good and evil, and life and death. Haven't we faced all of that? I am hoping that for today, because we are now all done with this book, you guys should be able to get your worksheets at this particular moment on books 21 through 23. I would like to encourage you guys, do you have, not this one, do you guys have this completely updated? In book 23, anybody have any ideas? What are some things that you guys should be writing down from book 23? Oh yeah, he gets together with Penelope. He did. But you might want to write down something about Athena. What did she give him? What were her gifts to Odysseus at the very end? Why didn't his wife accept Odysseus as he said he was when he first got there? What was the sign he had to give? Why did he get upset with Penelope for a moment? Because remember, he thought something and he wasn't too happy about it. What was the sign that he gave to Penelope so she finally knew he was who he said he was? Those are all really important things. I know when I look back at these, I start getting a little cloudy on, oh, what happened in that one? Like I'm looking back at book 21 thinking, okay, book 21 is not where he fought, but it's where he came back as the beggar and he's getting the lay of the land. Book 22 is all about the fight. Do you write down who the head two guys were? Do you write down anything about how they died? I don't know. It's super important to know how they died, but it is important to know who those two guys are. It's important to know what Odysseus has done to try and protect himself, the two herdsmen, and Telemachus. And remembering everything that happened from book 23. And if I asked you right now, without looking at your summary sheet, who could really identify what happened in books 1, 9, 10, and 12? If you can't tell me with complete certainty what really happened, people, this is the sheet. And notice, I have hardly anything. If this is what you turned in for me, oh, Calypso, yeah, he was with her for 7 of the 10 years. You're not going to do so well. If you only write 2 or 3 things down in each box, you are going to fail that worksheet miserably. I get to book 23. Book 23, that's the shortest book. That's the one where you could maybe write less, but there's still a few big things that happen there. And when I grade those things, I'm looking for a lot of those big things. And there were tons of big things, especially in books 9, 10, and 12. Even in book 21, there were some really big things. Well, and 22. So 23 is the only one that there's not much in there. In book 1's probably, there's not tons in there because it was only 1 page long. But make sure that you guys have that all updated. Make sure, have you taken a look at Smart and Stupid? And did you include anything from books 22 and 23? I mean, was it smart for Odysseus to let his son leave the room and go get all his weapons and whatever it was he said he wanted? Because I'm not going to remind you what they were. Hopefully you guys listened. Was that a smart thing? Was it smart then to count on and accept the help from the herdsman? Absolutely it was. Was it smart to have gotten those men drunk? Feed them a nice meal so they're all nice and content after that big old competition? Was it smart to not tell Penelope who he was when he first got there? I'm telling you, this is something I don't really think I said something too much about before. But I looked at the section, it would have been book 21. In book 21, where he did not come forward right away and tell Penelope, hey, honey, I'm home. First off, I think she would have been extremely suspicious. But secondly, I look at if he would have told her from the very beginning that he was who he was. I know myself, if my husband were finally home after 20 years, I could be sobbing like a baby. How could I get myself together enough to be believable enough in front of 100 men? I'd have to say, I think Odysseus did the right thing. Don't tell her until the time was there. Pray for the gods' help. Pray and call on Zeus. Pray on Apollo. Even to Athena. All of those were great gods and goddesses to ask for help from. Okay? It was a smart thing for Odysseus to tell his wife about the olive trunk. The tree of the olive trunk in the bedroom. All extremely smart things to do. Okay? So hopefully you guys have that updated. If you have a minute, talk to somebody beside you, because I'm sure you guys have probably missed something. And if I'm not there, you guys want that as clear as possible. After you guys complete your assignment for books 21 through 23, because you get all 3 books before you get this worksheet, you guys want to do a few things here. Smart and Stupid. This chart does need to be turned in today, so make sure that gets into the basket. Also make sure your summary sheets, you want to hold on to them until you guys are done with your worksheet over books 21 through 23, but all of those things still have to come into the grade book. So if you're teetering on a B- and a C+, I can't promise anybody that it is or is not going to affect your grade enough to move your grade, but hopefully you guys have done a good job. I will tell you that I typically don't have kids score so beautifully on these 2 documents, because you get wound up into the story and you forget to update Smart and Stupid, and you miss extremely big things on here. I have certain people that I'm really looking for to see, my God, did they take decent notes? I kept telling them, hey, write this down. And if I look and I find that there's a bunch of stuff you missed, that's where you don't do well on that stuff. So good luck on your worksheet today. Hopefully you guys paid attention. You took good notes. And again, we'll work on getting this assignment open. I'm hoping I will have communicated with my sub to get everything open online if I am not there, because I know for some of you this just might be your last day. And if it is, because I don't know for sure which day this video will play, because, you know, I'm making this in advance. I hope for those of you, if I am not going to see you, I hope you have a phenomenal summer break.